In a world where self-identification is so important, it's quite remarkable to see how many people have lost themselves and look to become the next XYZ. Today's example is straight from the world of basketball and come from the world of professional wrestling. This is The Lost Perspective.
Shawty told me that she loved me, so I keep her safe. I told her one day, we gon' leave this place. Scars all on my mental, can you see the pain? I made the call.
Shawn Michaels is considered the greatest performer in the history of the WWE, and next to The Undertaker is in the debate for the greatest wrestler period of all time. No one could quite steal a show like the Showstopper. No one could outperform Shawn on any pay-per-view event. Even in losses, the general consensus was that Shawn could have won because he was just so magnificent. There have been 4 prominent wrestlers who have idolized Shawn, one even being a protege of Shawn's private training facility: Chris Jericho, Kofi Kingston, Daniel Bryan, and Dolph Ziggler. We'll be visiting Kofi Kingston and Daniel Bryan in a later video, but for the moment, we'll take a look at Chris Jericho and Dolph Ziggler. Chris Jericho has openly stated that he idolized Michaels, and it was even the storyline used by the WWE leading up to WrestleMania 19, which was Shawn's first WrestleMania appearance since his back injury. Chris Jericho performed for WCW before the buyout and was a mid-card talent. However, he always had charisma to dominate a microphone and the savvy to create new ideas and push them. Chris Jericho's in-ring style was similar to Shawn's in that it was a very technical style with some aerial and acrobatic flair, never anything too power-based. As the years went on, Chris cut his hair short and went away from the aerial theatrics and relied more on in-ring ingenuity and storyline-driven action. He used his charisma and creativity to remain relevant after changing his style. He also ventured out to many wrestling promotions throughout the world, most notably the New Japan Pro Wrestling scene, where he has had classic matches against Kenny Omega and Tetsuya Naito. Currently, Chris Jericho is considered the greatest active wrestler, and many consider him on the cusp of surpassing Shawn Michaels, while his more ardent fans believe he already has. That came from Jericho making his own moves in his own way to keep rising on multiple ladders. Dolph Ziggler was originally a member of the Spirit Squad, a group of jobbers whose only job was to get hit with every finisher in the book. Once he broke out of that, the WWE gave him an early run with multiple world championships, even matching him against big names like Super John Cena and young Voldemort himself, Randy Orton. With such an early taste of success, one would assume that any break in that would only be temporary. However, Dolph has failed himself. Where he should have been looking to bring new ideas to the front office that would showcase his abilities and creativity, he instead reinvented himself to mirror a younger Shawn Michaels, even going as far as donning the long curly brown hair from Michaels' youth and the colorful designs on his pants. Dolph, during his short stint of prominence, had short blonde hair and wore only the tights. Now, Dolph even emulates the mannerisms and executes certain moves the way Shawn did in his youth. Shawn even talks about how Dolph would tell him in the locker room that he's going to steal the show the way HBK did. Shawn states that his response was always, "No, Dolph, go be Dolph." It's easy to see the difference in careers between the two athletes. One became a worldwide sensation that helped boost mid-carders and held classic matches and storylines and possessed an aura about him that leaves him as one of, if not the, greatest of all time. The other has become lost in obscurity, fighting ever so desperately to become relevant again as the waves of new talent continue to wash over him. Now for the application. We know that many people possess similar talents and many people possess similar ways of thinking. However, that does not create carbon copies by default. That only happens when we allow ourselves to be limited by the idea that we are another X type. Wade was not Kobe, was not Jordan, was not Julius, was not Elgin, and if we follow that, then we're on the same page. Don't sell yourself short by being another type producer, type artist, type athlete, type person. Your story, your work, your being are all individual. Go ahead and be yourself to the best of your ability and let the chips fall where they may. This has been The Lost Perspective.